Hey guys, if you're just getting on, I'm going to take just a second and invite some people to come and join us. I am just going to have a short live tonight. We're going to talk about some things with Upwork. I'm getting a lot of payment questions about how do I get paid, how often do you get paid, those type things, and I felt like it would be better to just address it as a group than it would be to try and answer it 500 times. And it's a very valid, very legit question, because when I first got started with Upwork, I can specifically remember a conversation between me and my husband, and we were not sure that it was legit. I started Upwork on a whim, and it was just something that kind of came across my desk. And we put a lot of hope into it that it would pan out, and fortunately for us, it's worked really, really well. That's not the case with everyone, and I fully recognize that. So that being said, realize that Upwork is very, very real. Okay. In fact, for the last, how many years, dear? 3 years? Upwork has paid our bills. Like, that's what we survive and live on, is Upwork. So, my husband has worked on Upwork. Him and I worked for the same company for a while, which was interesting. We have done, or I have done, a lot more than he has, because he actually went back to the traditional workforce. But we have both worked on Upwork, and we both got paid. The good thing about Upwork is you have payment insurance. There are some bad things, and I want to talk to you about contracts to accept and contracts to decline. When you're looking for proposals or job searches of clients to bid on jobs for, do not apply to jobs that are non-payment verified. That's very, very important catchphrase here. You want payment verified companies only. Now, what this means is you actually end up getting insurance if you have a payment verified client. Let's say this payment verified client goes belly up and they owe you 2 weeks of pay. Because you chose a payment verified client, Upwork will continue to pay you through the end. Like, they will end your contract, but they will pay you what was owed to you as long as you're using a timer. Now, Upwork gives you an app that you download on your computer, and you just hit log in. What happens is, periodically, over the time that you're logged in with this company, it's going to pop up and say, click, this is what Samantha's working on. My employers can then log into Upwork and they get a play-by-play of what I'm doing. Realize you are not going to get free hours. Like, you're not going to sit there and play around on Facebook. Like, you work. Unless, of course, part of your contract is working on Facebook, which a lot of people are. Okay? Feel free to leave any questions that you have. I do have my video going so I can see any questions that pop up. And I'm going to go back and look. There were a few questions yesterday. Okay. Let me finish talking about payments real quick. So let's say you work the first week of the month, and our payroll runs, I'm on Central Time, so it's about 6 p.m. on Sunday through 5:59 p.m. the following Sunday. This is your work week 1, right? The next week is your employer's week to verify that you worked these hours. You get paid the next week. So there's about a 2-week hold on Upwork. Now, I specifically get 2 checks a week from Upwork. I get paid for one contract on Tuesdays, and I get paid for another one on Fridays. It's just the way that my contracts were specifically set up. Most people can receive a direct deposit that will be taken out of their Upwork account on Tuesday nights, which is normally about 7 o'clock on Tuesday nights, and it's deposited. I mean, my bank, it would go in on Thursday if it was on Tuesday. They also offer, though, a program, an instant pay program, that if you have a bank that accepts instant transfers, like I get paid through that now, where I just log in and go click, 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 and literally within seconds my money's in my bank. That's a very, very convenient feature, and I enjoy that. So that's really how payday works. You have to have a verified payment source on file. It can be a bank account, it can be a debit card. I will tell you that I don't think we have ever had a single payment issue or problem getting paid. And that's me. I don't think my husband did either. We never had problems getting paid. We've never had problems. And I mean, I'm a person, if you don't pay me, I'm done. I'm not doing that mess. I don't play that little game. So, it is what it is. Let's talk about the connects. It's kind of like points, okay? Upwork wants you to buy points in order to be able to apply for a job. You get so many points a month. And that's really just to prove to Upwork that you are a serious freelancer, that you are really, true. If you apply for a position under an agency like MotherWorks, you don't have to pay the connects. Or if you're invited, you don't have to pay connects. In my case, I haven't applied for an open position in months because I have such a reputation, and my profile says whether I'm accepting positions or I'm not accepting positions. So therefore, people will reach out to me if they have something they think I'd like to do. Question, how long does it take for possible employers to review your proposal? It can take however long they decide. I have had companies request a proposal from me. I put one together, and then they hire someone else. But a few weeks later, they come back to me and say, hey, we'd like to bring you on. If you look at your profile, I don't think I can turn this around. Oh, can I? Can I? Is it that easy? Okay. Oh no, I think it's backwards. That would be a headache for you. But, trying a new tool here to put my tablet on a stand for live. I kind of think I like it. Alright, so if you look at your profile and you're on the home screen, on the left hand side it says My Profile. And it's going to go through there and it says how many invitations you have to interview. And that's where people reach out to you to interview. Or someone from Upwork may think you're a match for a job and request that you fill out a proposal. Now listen, this is why it's so important to fill out your profile 100%. It also says how many active candidacies. Right now I have 17. That means that 17 people are considering hiring me for a company. Now I have mindset that I'm not accepting any new jobs because I'm really probably over my limit on what I could be doing at one time. So realize, they can submit it, but you can still decline it too. I have submitted 6 proposals in the last 6 months. And I track time with the app. That's all it tells me. We do get alerts on the end. Like I just ended a contract with the company and I have a big alert on my thing that tells me so. Let's see. How do I start and what to do? Alright, getting started on Upwork is really, I don't want to say it's complicated, but the first thing that you need to do is really pay attention to your profile. You're building an online resume. This resume is the only thing that potential employers see. Okay? You're not going in to sit down to a formal interview. You're going in and you're showing them this profile. From this profile, they're going to decide if they'd like to have a phone conversation or a Zoom meeting with you, which is a digital phone call, much like this live video. Okay. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create a profile. This profile needs to display everything that you have done with Upwork. Outside of Upwork, everything you've ever done for a job. It should tell about everything that you can do. Just a moment. There's a lot of different companies on there, but remember to protect yourself and only hire on with companies that are payment verified. That is so important. Payment verified. I've seen a lot of people lose money because they hire on with other companies. And in reality, if they're not willing to put a payment method on file, I would question them because they may be a scam. They may be, maybe they aren't running an up and up company. If they are looking for honest employees, they're going to have to want to pay you directly, like through Upwork. Okay, don't trust people when they say, "Oh, I'll pay you with PayPal." No, you can pay me through Upwork, because if you do PayPal, you're not guaranteed anything. Okay, there's no protection if you get paid outside of Upwork. That's why I kind of harp on that. Let's see. I recommend, if you're just getting started, to take the simple jobs. I realize that making $5 doing an Amazon review isn't going to pay your power bill. But what it does do is get you good feedback. Okay. It's something like 50% of people who start working on Upwork don't ever get their first job. And that's because they give up, because it's not easy. You have to find the right job for you, and there are thousands of jobs posted every single day. You know, you're going to find a job that is right for you. I can say that my time spent years in the restaurant business has landed me one of my biggest jobs. The fact that my husband and I worked with the same company because we both loved coffee. I worked with a company that sold motorcycle parts, but I had no clue about motorcycle parts, but I could answer an email. You know, so it's a little bit different for everybody. Everyone's journey is going to be different. The more specialized your skills, the easier it is to get a job. Now, I spent a lot of time working in collections, so I'm working a great collections account right now, because of the experience I had outside of Upwork. Maybe your experience is in logo design or website design, or maybe you're great at writing blog posts. I see tons of posts every single day looking for ghostwriters. A ghostwriter is someone who writes a blog that will essentially be published in someone else's name. If you're good at writing, literally you could probably have a job tomorrow. It all just kind of varies. Put any type of experience that you have on your profile. If you've worked at McDonald's, as silly as that may sound, put it on the profile. The more experience, the better off it is for you. Okay? Let's see. Any other questions? Is Upwork simple for people like me? Upwork can be very simple once you get used to it. You have to have a certain level of computer literacy. Sorry, my husband's walking around in the background. He's been homesick for 3 days. 3 days. Anyway, you do have to know how to work a computer. And they don't provide you with a computer. Like, you have to have the equipment in order to get up and running. I did work for a company at one point called Sitel, and they sent me a computer in the mail because they wanted me on their hardware. I worked, and that job was answering the phone from 12 to 9 every day. Did I make $1 million? No. Did it get me some great experience? Yes. And there are a lot of true work from home companies, and I post a lot of those in MotherWorks. If you're not a part of the group, it's called MotherWorks Upwork Agency, and I'm just posting whatever jobs I see that I know are legitimate. There are companies that want you to pay for your background check. While that may seem absurd to some of us, it is a common practice in the freelance world to have to pay for your background check, to have to pay for software. Okay, how much does Upwork deduct from your pay? Now, your first $1,000 that you earn, they take 20%, which seems really high, but it's worth it because after that $1,000, then it drops down to 10%. Remember, a lot of what you're paying for is this insurance that you're going to get paid, even if the company you work for goes belly up, which you don't even have that in the real world. So it's worth it, and I know that the fees seem extreme in the beginning, but once you cross that $1,000 threshold, and now I'm at, in total with what I've made over the years, I don't have a high fee anymore. I don't have a high fee anymore. I mean, I pay less than 5% off of everything that I make. Now, my husband brought up a really good point earlier, that my work on Upwork is really unique, and it's really, and I don't mind saying this because if you guys are here, you've probably watched my channel before. I have always believed that God had just given me what I needed when I needed it, and the Lord has really blessed me to keep work coming, and that for it to be work that I could do. I've been very blessed in that manner. I have not been without a job at all on Upwork in about 4 years, for longer than a few days. I've got one contract now that I'm going on 1.5 years. Another one that is like 6 or 7 months long. And then I just started another major contract 2 weeks ago. And I do have one company that I work for outside of Upwork, and that's actually because they found me on YouTube and reached out to me with a business deal, and now I work with them as a freelancer. But before I did that, realized that, number one, I don't have that insurance that when I'm going to get paid every month if something happens. But I built a relationship with them first before I went to work with them, and I know that they are a legitimate business. I've actually now been able to hire other people to work in their business, and they get paid. So it's actually turned out to be a great thing for me. In the end, there are fees, in the beginning there are fees to get with Upwork, but it's worth it. I'm telling you guys. Let's see. Hello, Sister Sam. Hey, Monique. Why have the amount of free connects gone down? Seemed like they gave more a year ago. They changed a lot. Probably, I want to say it was over the summer, June or July. But when they did that, it now costs less connects to make a proposal. So there's some jobs that take 2 connects, some that take 3, some that take 6. It depends on what they pay. But once you get in there and you start really filling out your profile, this is why your profile is so important. Because Upwork has their own community of recruiters. And so they may scour your profile for words like Excel or email, customer service, and they will find people they want to introduce to companies. And that's why it is so important that you fill out your profile with absolutely anything that could maybe never be of any use to a company looking for a freelancer, but it works. Okay? The more you put, the better off you are. I have had great responses when companies feel like they get to know me through my profile, because then we're able to connect when we have that first meeting or that first phone call. And that really and truly helps. If they feel like they can connect with you, it's just like when you're interviewing in an office, they need to feel like they can connect with you and they can work with you, because even though you're digital, I still work with these people every day. Okay? Some of my contracts I text with every day. They know my life because I need to tell them, Thursday night we have a band concert, Friday night we have this, Saturday night we have a Christmas party, so I won't be around then. And I have some contracts, that pay me extra to literally answer my phone anytime they call me. And that seems extreme, but that's a situation that, because I'm a top ranked freelancer and because I have so much experience on Upwork, that's where I'm at now. I literally get a paycheck for answering my phone when they call me. They don't pay for my phone, but they're willing to pay me to answer it when they call me, because they know if they call me, it's a serious situation. And I have had some people will message me during the night and I get it in the morning, and sometimes I wake up and answer it. But the company pays me for that. You see what I'm saying? I don't give them that for free. And I have another company I work for. When I'm done with that company, I shut it down. They don't get anything extra out of me. That comes in with knowing your value. And that's going to be our video tomorrow. We're going to talk about knowing your value as a freelancer in the industry, if you're just breaking out into it, if you're just getting into freelancing. A couple things I want to remind you of. You are not, and this is going to sound like I'm boasting, but I'm not. I tell you what I have done, but you're not going to get where I am in a week or a month or a year or 2 years. I've literally been working at this 4.5 years. So you're not going to get here overnight, and you're not going to get here, without doing anything. Where I'm at, I have worked and clawed myself to the top to get there. And I'm not trying to be boastful. I just don't want people to ever think that they're just going to walk into this job and they're going to have all these perks, because that's not really the way it works. When you're just getting started, you're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. No, it does not look bad if you turn down a job. And I turn down jobs all the time. If in the company's proposal, they say things like shipping from China, I'm done. I do not work customer service for companies that ship from China. Never again. Been there, done that. There are companies that I don't really like working for, companies that answer the phone. Now, I do have a contract that I answer the phone or that I call people on, but I don't cold call people because I despise when my phone rings like that. So I'm not going to accept a job, and in reality, it would have to pay me 5 times the rate of a normal job in order to get me to do that, and no one's going to do that. But if they list cold calling on their thing or appointment setting, I'm not doing it. Because those are 2 things I hate doing. If you don't mind talking to people, cool. You can probably find something really quick. Sometimes you do have to buy some equipment. But this little headset that I used for mine was like $9 at Walmart. So, turning down a job doesn't hurt you. What will hurt you, and this is what I just found out, and I didn't know this. I've had a contract open since October, and it was over something. Hi, Archie. It was over something insane, but it was a situation that I did the review and the contract just never got closed out. And so my ranking went from 100% happy employee or happy companies. Hey, don't make fun of my forehead. 100% happy customers down to like 93% because I had this open contract for a long amount of time. So I had to deal with that today, but my contract As soon as I closed that contract, it went right back up. So it's just one of the things that I've had to learn as I went. It is what it is. Let's see. Any other questions before we get off for tonight? I don't think that you have to sign up in order to be successful, that you have to sign up for a paid Upwork program. I do think that you have to spend a fair amount of time on your profile, developing it, and your profile should really tell a story as far as what you started off doing and how you grew in not only your abilities, but your skills and your learning. If you started off as a server in a restaurant, then you grew into a manager or a shift leader, then you ended up a manager, a general manager, etc. That was something that didn't really seem important, but it was, things like that helped. Like I landed a job with a restaurant supply company that was great. All right, so Monique says, my very first client on Upwork was an apology letter for a guy to give his cyber girlfriend. I got $25 for 30 minutes of work. It was crazy. I've done YouTube reviews and handwritten notes. I mean, there are some weird things that people put on Upwork. I have seen reports, like college kids wanting reports. I have seen a lot of Amazon review things like, hey, will you review my eyebrow trimmer? Will you review my, what was the weird thing I got? Oh, I got an engraving kit. They're like, hey, will you order? And the company I did this for was like, hey, we'll give you a gift card. We just want you to do an opening video and post it to Amazon. You don't even have to review it. So I got paid to do that, and I got an engraver kit that I've never, I opened it, but I don't even know where it's at. So, these are just things that you can do. Like the reviews and, like she said, the notes and stuff are great things that get you started. It just kind of is what it is. It's one of those things that these little bitty jobs get you the reviews, and they can really lead up to amazing positions because you're proving that you're going to complete tasks. You're proving that you're going to do what the client's asking as far as the job is. So all of those reviews really matter. Now, if you get into a job that is not what you thought it is, you do have the ability to request to cancel a contract. You don't want to just cancel a contract because you don't feel like doing work that day. Like, you don't want to do it like that. But you can cancel contracts. Dude, if you have a problem with me, get off the chat. Okay? I could care less how many times you make fun of my forehead or call me slabhead. Honey, you don't bother me. I got no time. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Monique, and I kind of talked about this by a few minutes ago. When you don't work on Upwork, you actually end up unprotected. If a company goes in and they choose to not pay you for whatever reason, oh, the hate doesn't bother me, honey. I'm talking to someone who's standing up for me, old man. My husband's sitting on the kitchen counter in there giving me, what for. It doesn't bother me. I have a husband and kids. Anyway, when you don't work on Upwork and you work through payment on PayPal or something, you don't have that insurance that if something happens, the company's going to pay you. Whereas on Upwork, if you do the work and you log your hours, Upwork will pay you. And that's just one of those things, like you want to make sure that you're using. I said hi to Archie. You want to make sure that you are being business-like. Remember that this is all a business, and you're actually creating a business out of yourself and your ability. And working for someone through PayPal can be risky. And you just have to realize that going in, that in the end, you may not get paid. Hey, dear.
Yeah.
They're calling you the hubby sighting. He's been sick. Where we live, it's gone from 70 degrees to 15 degrees in a matter of like 3 hours. So, everyone is struggling with colds and sinus infections. But I also can't lie and say I've never taken a position outside of Upwork. I've done small things so that I could get paid, but that's about it. That's about it as far as it goes. You know, I'm not going to work a full-time job through PayPal. I can't do it. I'm not going to work a full-time job and risk not having that insurance that I will get paid, because that can be dangerous. You know, if you put all of your eggs in one basket. And I recently saw someone who did that. The company that I shared a few videos ago that scammed me or tried to get away without paying me, they turned around and the other girl they had hired ended up not getting paid because she opted to be paid through PayPal. Well, they split. I got paid because I was insured through the Upwork program. She did not, and she worked for them for over a month. And she was hired into like a manager position. And so they had promised her, the last time I talked to her, they had promised her $30 an hour times 40 hours a week. And some weeks she was working 60 hours. This was a company that shipped stuff from China. You know, they had a website up and they, I want to see if their website's even up. Okay, so the website is down. It was called Coupana, Coupana. And I can tell you that because I did not sign a do not disclose signature with them. So you just kind of have to be careful. I would recommend, if you're looking for things that you can, you know, brush up on your skills or better something that you're working on, there's a great website called Skillshare. And on Skillshare, with Skillshare, you can take classes by other users on programs. Like you can learn more about Excel, or I'm currently taking classes on Inkscape when I have free time because I really want to learn more about digital design, and it would help me with my thumbnails. Well, I want to learn this program. So on Skillshare, you can pay 99 cents for like the first 2 months. And then after that, I think it's $2.99 or $5.99 a month. And you can take as many classes as you want. That's a great way to kind of boost your skills in certain programs. And I have seen everything from programming to SEO development to writing on there. I mean, there's classes for just about everything, and that's pretty cheap. If you're in the workforce right now, I would make sure that you are really doing as much as you can to expand your horizons. That if your company offers another program, you're taking the time to learn it. I know some companies offer like secondary education work. They offer classes for different positions. If they'll let you take any of those, I would definitely take those. SEO, I'm telling you, I can't figure SEO out, but I've never been able to sit down and spend like a vast amount of time studying it. But if you have time to work on SEO and learn it, that is a very sought after field. Lots of people pay big money for SEO, especially if you're good at it. And I see people on Fiverr paying for SEO. I see people on freelancers.us .us paying for SEO, on Upwork paying for SEO. You know, it is one of those businesses that when you're good at it, you're good at it. And if you have the opportunity to really study on it, that is a great field to go into. Any other questions? We've been on here for almost 40 minutes, guys. I've only done this with this payment up front. Yeah. I have one I've been working. How long have you been with them, Monique? How long have you been with Upwork, I mean? Constantly checking back to see if there's any other questions or anything posted. You know, I think the last thing I'm going to say, unless another question comes up, is you can't just give up. Yes. She's exactly right. Let me put that thought on hold. Monique said, US-based jobs only pay more. Yes. And I'm going to give you another trick. When I got started, I only worked for companies out of California. Because the minimum wage in California is so much more than where I live. Okay, in California, jobs were paying right off the bat at $15 an hour. Well, where I live, minimum wage jobs pay less than $7.50. So that's where I started, and that got me the experience to raise my rates to where they are now. Now, just a quick thought. When you guys had asked about the 10% that Upwork takes out of your pay, I build that amount into what I request. So if I would normally ask for $15 an hour for this job, and I know they're going to take 10%, then I automatically, say, well, $16.50 an hour, so that $1.50 is accounted for. Yep. Exactly. And so, Monique, that's why I always, when I got started, I would target companies in California on the West Coast. Yes, don't forget the elf. My kid, mine's old enough we don't have to do that. You can see our Christmas tree twinkling, and I have Santas everywhere. That's about the extent of it. I'm going to go. It has been a really long day, and tomorrow's another really long day. We have band concerts tomorrow night, so I'm struggling with this Vlogmas thing this year, guys. But it is time for me to go. If you have questions, concerns, or things that you'd like to know about Upwork, feel free to let me know in the comments. Tell me, did you like this video tonight? Does it look normal? I'm filming on my tablet because I didn't like the way it looked on my computer, and I'm not sure if I like it or not. But guys, until next time, it is time for me to go, and I will see you all next time. Bye.